Rivalries on the track for wins and championships is what helps keep race fans in seats. And when a rivalry between the two best in their prime comes up during a fight for the championship, it becomes must-see TV. On the NASCAR Modified Tour, these types of rivalries seem to happen once a decade, and in the mid-2010s, we were treated to an all-time classic. But first, who are these two? Let's start with the elder of the two, Doug Coby. A native of the beautiful town of Milford, Connecticut, Coby got the racing bug after his parents started taking him and his sister to races at just 6 years old, and would start racing in quarter midgets at the age of 7 at none other than the Silver City track in Meriden, Connecticut. He stated that, "My sister wanted to race, so my parents got her a car, and I ended up racing the following season." Once he got behind the wheel, he noticed all the quirks and features that goes into racing. First, he adopted one of the most unique driving positions ever, due to him barely being able to fit in a quarter midget. He was unable to hold the steering wheel with both hands in the turns, that he has to use only his right arm to turn the wheel and put his left hand on his lap in the corners. Now it is very common for drivers to have unique driving positions, with the most notable being Dale Earnhardt Jr. But it has worked for Coby, and there is no reason to change something if it's working fine. When his quarter midget career ended, Coby won 3 national championships. From there, he went on to the most elite short track in the Northeast, the Stafford Speedway. He started out in a white and orange number 10 late model, all while taking classes at the prestigious Richmond University. And in 1998, Coby won his first ever race and track championship in the late models. Then in 2000, he won the championship in the Pro Stocks before that division left the track. However, while racing SK Modifieds at Stafford on a weekly basis, his big break would come out of nowhere when the late Don King had a falling out with his current driver Jamie Asklar, and allowed Doug to drive the final few races on the NASCAR Modified Tour in the 28. The relationship actually started when Coby purchased equipment from King in 1998. But King's son followed Coby's progression from pro stock racing to SK Modified racing and encouraged his father to pay closer attention to Coby. When the moment was right, Coby got the call and seat on the big stage. Surprised by the call, Coby said, "It was just kind of weird. You buy something from somebody and they pay attention to what you do with their old equipment. And now I'm hired to race for him." Coby would go on to have a good tenure with King and eventually win the biggest race of his career at the time, the Stafford Spring Sizzler for the Kurt Chase Racing family, in 2006. In his emotional victory lane speech, he said, "Anyone who knows me knows I'm never at a loss for words, but for the Arut family, to see someone who started racing here come and win and share it with them is amazing. We don't have a big sponsor on our car, but this team is a great group of guys, and we're going to win a lot more, so get ready." But Coby seemed to always be bounced around to other teams and not have a full-time ride, while others did. But that all changed in 2011, when he joined the B-52 team for Wayne Darling, and Coby was about to have his stock blow up. But we'll get to that in a bit. The other man in this rivalry is Ryan Preece. Another Connecticut native out of Kensington, whom also raced at Silver City, jumped into a quarter midget at 6 years old and showed immediate success. His love for the sport came from none other than his father racing pro stocks at Thompson Speedway, stating, "That's when I kind of found my passion for racing coming to light and knew that I really wanted to do it." In his quarter midget days, he was a 3-time JSCA national champion and a junior stock grand national champion as well. By the time he was 10, he won 17 features at Whip City Speedway in the 2001 season, and when he was 13, he won 3 USAC Kenyan midget races, including one at the Indianapolis Speedrome. But in 2005, Preece took a big leap forward, and at just age 14, went racing tour-type modifieds, and it made a lot of sense. His family has a deep history in racing. His grandfather and near Hall of Famer, Bob Judkins, whom was an amazing chassis builder in his own right with the 2X, helped pioneer the Pinto modified revolution and made hand-building a race car on a tight budget a possibility for everyone. And under the guidance of his father, whom gave him his love for the sport, they fielded their black number 40 modified and became a dark horse threat in the ROC, MRS, and eventually the NASCAR Modified Tour scene. But by the dawn of the new year in 2008, he was about to set the tour on fire. In 2008, Preece made sure everyone knew his name after he signed on to drive the Bowler 3 team. It was major news, and he was able to join a team that was in need of some additional funding to get back to being a powerhouse team on the tour. He brought Mizzy Construction on board and stated, "This is definitely a really good path. It's a top-notch team. They are a great bunch of guys, and I have the pleasure of driving a car for them. My dad ran a top-notch operation, but it's time to take the next step and drive for someone else. I believe that the number 3 will be a top contender this year. They have the equipment and the motors and everything they need to do it. Hopefully at the end of the year we could have a win or 2 and a nice finish in the points. I believe I matured very much throughout the year and took a different view on a race. In order to make a car better, you have to finish the race and work on it at the shop. If you wreck it, you can't make those changes as easily." As predicted, Preece was a front runner and was hungry for his first win. On a rain-delayed August night at his home track in Stafford Speedway, he was about to do it. Leading with 10 laps to go, it was going to be his, until the caution came out, setting up a final restart. On the single-file restart, he led into Turn 1, but champion Todd Szegedy got a great run off the exit of Turn 2 to make the pass in 3 and 4. Entering Turn 1, it looked like it was over for Preece, but in the middle of Turns 1 and 2, Preece nudged the 2 car in the bumper and took the lead and the win. History was made as he became the youngest driver to win a Modified Tour race, right? Wait, why is he not in victory lane? What just happened? Well, the officials declared the bump was deliberate and took the win away from Ryan. In the post-race, Todd Szegedy said, "It takes a lot for me to spin out. He got me good. I roughed him up a little bit, but I wouldn't rough him up enough to spin him out just to get by him." Preece wisely declined to comment, and even race director Chad Little didn't comment. Yes, the series director didn't comment on the call. No wonder he was the worst director in series history. But a few races later, Preece had luck on his side and struck back in Martinsville. He crossed the line in second, but after tech, the officials declared him the winner after the race winner Burt Myers had an overdrive gear in the transmission. Preece said, "To win is still a great feeling though. To answer all the questions, what will a 17-year-old do with a nice clock like that? I'm gonna sleep with it every night. That makes a big check mark on the list of wins. I'm loving life right now." And in 2009, Preece bounced back even stronger. He got his first legit win on the tour at the Riverhead Raceway. In victory lane, he said, "It was a great day. It's unbelievable. I have a good record here, but every time you come here you wonder if anything bad is going to happen." While riding high from the win, he made his return to Stafford, and he got redemption for last year's heartbreaker. He got around one of the track's greatest in Ted Christopher and got his first ever victory at his home track. In victory lane, he said, "Scotty, my crew chief, told me, keep your jets cool. And I knew that when racing against Teddy you have to play defense and offense at the same time." When asked about winning at Stafford, he said, "It means a lot, especially since my grandfather won here so much, and it's just special. Things are great right now." But after 2010, Preece was back driving for his own team and was looking for someone to drive for in 2012. Just like Coby, he was able to get signed after the legend Mike Stefanik left the Flamingo Motorsports team. Now both drivers were with championship-caliber teams and ready for battle. At the start of the 2012 season, all eyes were on Coby and Preece, and it didn't take them long to begin competing with each other for wins. At the Spring Sizzler, Coby made the pass for the win by passing Preece, whom led the first half of the race. And in victory lane, Coby said, "This was the best car I've ever driven in my life at this speedway, and I'm no longer a one-hit wonder." On the other side, Preece was pleased, but stated, "I'm getting sick of leading the first half of these races and not winning the race, but congrats to Doug." When the Modifieds raced the following week at Monadnock, the script was reversed. Preece never lost the lead and held off Coby to win in another 1-2 finish. He said, "It just goes to show you how good Sly is as a crew chief and how good this whole team is. I say it a lot, but I can't describe how thankful I am. Doug had a perfect car last race, and I felt that I had a perfect car this time." And on the other side, Coby stated, "I had him for like a lap or 2. Maybe I could run even with him, but I don't really know this track well enough to know where to send it in." While Coby and Preece exchanged wins and second-place finishes, Their battle would reach its greatest feat at the following race, and series returned to the Waterford Speedball. And this race was no different. The two were at it again at the end, and on the final restart, Coby knew exactly what he had to do to win. He took a wider angle into the turn and ran the 16 up a bit in the corner. In victory lane, Coby stated, "Knock the 16 in the door and hang on for a few laps. I knew I had to take away the entry for him because the high lane was the place to be." In response, Preece said, "He caught me off guard and I didn't expect it, but congratulations to Doug. It sucks. I thought that green-white checker was going to work out in my favor." Surprisingly, nothing escalated, and the season turned more in Coby's favor. In the end, Coby went on to get his first win at Loudon and hold off Preece, who ended up only 11 points off from the championship. Coby won his first title and stated, "It's a dream come true, and this team is a bit of misfits, but we performed well when it was crunch time. A lot of people stuck their necks out for me to get with this team, and I'm so thankful for it." On the losing side of the title, Ryan Preece stated he tried his hardest to get the points, but was already looking at doing racing in the off-season and preparing for the championship in 2013. When the new season came around, it definitely showed he was ready for Coby. He started off very strong at the icebreaker, but couldn't get out of traffic, but once the spring came he went lights out. He won 3 races in a row, starting at Stafford and Riverhead, but the most important one was at Waterford, where him and Coby went at it again, this time with Preece getting the trophy. He had to make the pass on another green-white checkered restart and didn't let Coby rattle his cage. He didn't move Coby up as much as Coby did to him last year, and won a drag race to the stripe in Part 2 in a near-sellout crowd at the Speedball. In victory lane, Preece stated, "If I had just sat there and finished second, my team would have been disappointed in me, and I would have been disappointed in myself, so I just did everything I could to win. All the restarts before, Doug was just killing me. I couldn't get the drive up off. But this one we just timed it right. It was unreal." While he celebrated, Coby knew he just had one slip away and stated, "I should have beat him. Hopefully we get on a roll here and get some wins later on." And when he did, at the next race in Loudon, it was the Ryan Preece-Doug Coby show, where in just the final 40 laps the two swapped the lead 4 times in a row and 6 times in the final 11 laps, with Coby getting the last laugh. Taking the lead with just 4 laps to go and claiming the victory, he was able to start gaining ground on Preece in the standings. In victory lane, he stated, "I really studied the draft and watched a lot of videos of races where I missed an opportunity to finish in the top 5 or a win. Now I feel that I have a greater understanding of where I need to be positioned at the end of the race." Coby was able to keep the momentum going for the rest of the year, but didn't have enough to take the title away from Preece at the finale. Preece's 5 wins propelled him to the championship, while Coby's 2 left him 32 off to the lead, which was almost a reversal of the prior season. Preece celebrated with his family and friends and said, "This is awesome. I'm sure it's going to sink in later when I'm with my buddies. It sure is great to have this trophy and a grandfather clock." In 2014, Doug Coby made the move to the most stable and financially backed team on the circuit, the Mike Smariglio-owned number 2 team, and it would be the start to setting the tour record books on fire. After his former team decided to scale back, a call was made and the 2-team seat was filled, and it didn't take long to see success. A win at Daytona in February proved the combination wasn't going to be a bust. They did manage to only win one other race, but their consistency and calculated driving won them the title. Preece struggled a bit in 2014, but managed to come on strong at the end and win the fall final and the World Series, but came up 22 points short of the title. Coby's average finishing position of an amazing 5.2 was the best season-long average in his career until he broke it in 2019. With the Champions Trophy in his hand, he said, "I'm a little lost for words. I could tell pretty quickly that Phil Moran and the equipment they were bringing on board, that we were going to have everything we needed to win a championship, and we did just that. It's a great feeling to be able to drive this car and represent them and our sponsors." When asked about the team's future goals, he stated, "I want people to look at the 2 car and look at me driving it and say if you want to win a points championship, then it's going to go through us." So from then on, the title defense would begin again. Now, this so-called rivalry wasn't really a traditional rivalry, and was more about two drivers whom had a bunch of mutual respect for one another that were at the top of their games at the time, each year finishing ahead of one another in the points. But during the 2015 season, we would definitely see an uptick in the aggression when the points chase would tighten up. For starters, Ryan Preece would join the Eddie Partridge team and bring in the new Troyer TA2 chassis, which was designed with a new Bud Link rear suspension adopted from the dirt scene. And after an amazing debut during Speed Weeks at New Smyrna, where he won 4 out of the 6 nights, he was more than confident going into the Tour season that his team could win the title. As for the defending champ, he had an even bigger surprise. The two-team decided to switch to the new LFR chassis that Rob Fuller designed after noticing the success it was starting to have down south, and wanted to be the first to use it up north. They would become the pioneers for the chassis of choice on the Tour we see a decade later. And it didn't take long for Coby to start showing how much better his team was with the new weapon of choice. They won the icebreaker pole and race with little contest from their competitors and showed that they wanted to start a dynasty run. Of course, Preece wanted to start his own dynasty, and the two foes headed back to Waterford and had round 3. While not as chaotic as the last 2 rounds, Preece held off Coby to get the win and take the points lead by just 1 single point over Coby. And a week later, he did it again and won at Stafford, proving he was in the title fight for the long haul. But just as soon as Preece started dominating, Coby roared back and led all but the first lap at the next race at Thompson and proved he and his team were still in the title chase. They knew how good they were at this particular racetrack, and nobody in the field was close to giving them a battle. And just a few races later, he found himself in victory lane again, taking the lead from the pole sitter Preece and closing to within just 12 points behind him in the standings. Now this is where Coby and Preece kept on trading wins every other race. Preece won at the next race in Stafford, then Coby makes a comeback to win at Thompson. Preece wins at Bristol, where Coby made a lap 2 mistake and crashed, costing him dearly in the points. And now this leads us to the climax, and really the only time this rivalry actually turned towards a darker path, the race at Loudon. After Bristol, Coby fell 32 points off from Preece with 4 races remaining, and with how close these two finished to one another, he needed some things to go his way, or make his own luck. And on the final lap, it was only fitting that these two met again in a battle for the win. A moment in history that is still talked about to this day was created, and Coby put the bumper to Preece and sent the 6 spinning and collecting other championship contenders. Both drivers were asked about the accident, and Coby blamed the spin on Preece. "I attribute what happened in turns 1 and 2 to me having my plan and Ryan having his plan, and our plans didn't work together. I think he checked me up in the middle of the corner to slow me up. I'm the first guy to admit when I make a mistake." While on the other side of the conflict, Preece felt that the blame would fall on Coby and stated, "I got wrecked leading this race, and there is nothing he is saying that can change the outcome. He is a good enough driver to know to not do what he did. I lost some respect for someone I raced with for many years." With Loudon in the rear view, Coby was now within 11 points of the leader with just 2 races remaining. At the fall final, Preece and Coby started on the front row, and after a very hectic race, Coby reigned superior and held off Preece to head into the championship finale in a dead tie. Coby had to work hard for the victory, saying, "Ryan was strong, even a little stronger than us. The harder I tried to get him, I just couldn't. But once we got out front, I know he had some issues." And in response, Preece stated, "This team worked so hard, it looks like it's going to be a dogfight there at Thompson." But, as the World Series finale played out, Coby won the pole and took the lead late in the race to win both the finale and his 3rd championship. With his 8 wins, he won the title by just 11 points over Preece. It's a special feeling when you drive for a team that puts their heart and soul into racing modifieds. Everybody on this team believes in the Modified Tour, and I'm just so proud of them for how hard they battled all season. It's so competitive on our series, it just shows how much effort they put into being here. Preece ended the season with 4 victories and would run full-time in the Xfinity Series for 2016, putting the rivalry on pause for a season. But in 2017, the rivalry was renewed for another season, with the title being decided between these two men again. But the championship battle would be anything but under control by these two at the beginning. Both drivers would add new sponsors to their teams, with Coby signing Mayhew Tools as their primary sponsor, and Preece would sign Simonez as an associate sponsor. It was only fitting that at the end of the spring sizzler these two would fight each other for the win, and Ryan Preece would take the win from Coby with 12 laps remaining, while holding off all of Coby's final efforts to get back by him. Preece yelled, "My goal was to beat Doug. He had the car to beat in the first half, and the next 30 to 40 laps just played right into my hand." When the two returned to Stafford in August, Coby was up front all night, leading 135 laps, but Preece pitted later for tires and stole the win from Coby with just 3 laps left. Coby said he just was flat-out beaten by Preece, and the older tires cost him dearly. While looking for redemption, Coby headed into Thompson, but again after leading late, was unable to hold off Preece, and even scraped the wall, which cut a tire on the final lap, but was able to limp back to finish second, saving a bunch of points. Preece stated, "Doug put a lot more pressure on me at the end than I thought he was going to, but we got the win." As the second half of the season progressed, Preece and Coby would be separated by 2 points at one point from the lead, but Preece had to miss 2 races, one for his wedding and another to race for Joe Gibbs in the Xfinity Series. When they took the green at the finale, only 19 points separated Coby from Preece atop the point standings. But Preece would drop out with a mechanical failure, and Coby secured yet another driver's title, while Preece won the owner's title. In his Champions interview, Coby stated how much of a struggle the season was at the start, and said, "I can't believe it. No quit. Not with these guys behind me. We just won 4 championships in a row." After 2017, the rivalry between these two cooled off as a result of Preece moving up to drive in the Cup Series along with Coby's team closing up shop after winning another title with Coby in 2019. Both drivers had differing driving styles, with Coby being more patient and calculated, while Preece was more aggressive and preferred a loose-handling race car. They both came from humble beginnings and had to fight to get to the top rides in the modified ranks. Today, these two drivers consistently raced each other with class, tested each other's skills, and became the image that should pop in your head when you think of NASCAR modified racing throughout the 2010s.